K100 DC here on Keepin 109.6. It is January 9th, and today we feature the band called Led Zeppelin for all the ins and outs. Today is National Static Electricity Day. Static electricity is produced when the positive and negative charges of an atom are out of balance. So when you walk with rubber-soled shields and drag your feet, you are creating an imbalance in the atoms, which allows you to shock other people. Did you know that if you have a piece of money in your hand or a key, you can't get shocked?
I did know.
You did know that.
I did know that.
It negativates the charge. So you see somebody like trying to scuff and push you, put a coin in your hand, you can sit there and touch it all day, ain't not going to happen.
You know how I know that?
How do you know that?
A guy that used to work with years and years ago was riding across Arizona, got struck by electricity, and what kept him from dying was he had coins in his pocket that blew out, and it
Took some of the energy.
Yep.
Lucky for him.
Yep.
Do you keep coins in your pocket?
Most times after I go to like get food or go out to the store, I keep my coins in my pocket. Yeah.
I'm gonna start carrying coins in my pocket now.
Yeah.
I always have my key, which allows me to get into work. So.
That's true. I got my keys. I'll be all right.
Yeah, you're good.
Today is also National Apricot Day. I'm gonna let people know I do a little YouTube stuff in the afternoons with shows. My favorite dish to grill, and you've seen it out there before, is grilled apricots with brie cheese, prosciutto, and honey. If you've never had it before, it's as easy as it sounds. You put the apricot, you half it, you grill it, you put the brie on, you put prosciutto on, you drip some honey, and you eat it. Very, very good. Lastly, today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Take a little time to thank a fireman or police officer if you see them today, unless they're giving you a ticket. In that case, you can appreciate it if you want to. Just remember, they're just doing their job, and you were speeding. When we get back, we'll meet my guest to see why she is here today. Keepin 100 DC here on Keepin 109.6. Welcome back to the show. Celebrity Birthdays are brought to you by Blue Moon Pizza, located right at 2359 Windy Hill Road, who specialize in authentic, made-from-scratch menu pizza sandwiches and appetizers with a classic Italian flavor. Stop in or call today, 770-984-2444. If you dine in at the Windy Hill location, you mentioned Keepin 109.6, you will receive 10% off of your order. You ever been to Blue Moon yet?
I have one time. Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes, it was good.
Good. Do you remember what you had? They're unique.
No,
that's why I asked.
No, I don't remember. I just remember I had met some friends there, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was work related, but it was good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Celebrity birthdays today, Thursday, January 9th. Guitarist from rock group Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, is 76 years old today and still alive.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you. Lead singer of Dave Matthews Band, Dave Matthews, is 53 today. Former NBA player Muggsy Bogues is 55. Former NFL player Chad Johnson is 42. Here's the most important birthday for you two.
Okay.
Because one of you is going to be losing at radio karaoke later.
All right.
There are 3 numbers in this statement here, and later on I'm going to ask you one of those 3.
Okay.
Former President, Mr. I Cannot Tell a Lie, Richard Nixon, would have been 107 today, but he died in 1994 at the age of 81 after suffering from a stroke 4 days earlier. My guest today is originally from League City, Texas, but now calls Marietta, Georgia home for the past 26 years. She is a constant professional with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably
Dude,
the best.
I agree.
That's probably the best way to describe
Or
it.
consummate. I mean, constant and consummate, you know. It's,
And has been a real estate broker for the past 24 years. Please welcome my guest, Miss Jan Hair, into the studio. Yes, we bring our own audience for you too, Jan. How was the ride in?
it was good. I mean, always a little traffic, but we made it here. Nobody died.
Nobody died. I understand that
no
statement
speeding
so well.
tickets,
That's true.
no accidents, and nobody died.
That's awesome.
Always a good benefit.
Always a good benefit. And the parking deck wasn't that hard.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people have problems in the red deck.
No.
Really?
I have a lot of problems there. So, you told me when I interviewed you, life started when you fell in love with Mr. Hair. Before you go into this, I want to let everybody know, because Mr. Hair's not here. You see his son. Mr. Hair does not look like that.
Nope.
Mr. Hair is bald like Mr. DC.
Yeah.
So when I met them, and they came to one of our events, the barbecue place, and we met them there, and me and Jan just linked up, and Mr. Hair as well. And I saw him. She goes, "Oh, our last name's Hair," and I'm like, "Dude, your name's Mr. Hair. You're bald. That's gotta be a big controversy."
Yeah.
How much joking do y'all do with Mr. Hair?
Oh,
about
of
that?
course. We call her, sometimes I refer to us as the strands, people that have a good sense of humor, like
That's awesome.
the strands.
So explain, life started for you after you fell in love with Mr. Hair.
Well, yeah, I'm actually older than he is, and so here we met, we dated for 20 months, and half that time we lived
20 minutes?
20 months.
Oh.
And well, you know, that's called speed dating.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't picture you 20-minute person now.
Anyway, so, but half of that 20 months we were in separate states. So the greatest part about that is that you can talk on the phone, but you have to learn how to write a letter. And my husband, or at the time, the boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, is an amazing writer, wrote the most beautiful love letters. And I think that when you, when you don't get to see somebody every day, that has a lot of meaning.
Oh, yeah.
So, so we, he ended up coming back, and then by our second date, actually, I knew I was going to marry him, but I didn't tell him that, of course.
Yeah. Most girls say that to come in here. I was a guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't been married forever. They say I knew him after 25
Well,
days.
we just passed 29 years, so yeah.
When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. And I was 28 when I got married, so we got married. Well, we got engaged the day after Thanksgiving and married 3 days before Christmas, and planned an entire wedding. And then 3 weeks after that, we moved to Australia. And so we lived in Sydney, Australia, and then we lived in a suburb, and then we lived in Brisbane.
Tell me about living in Australia and how you got to be there. We know how you got to be there now.
Right.
Would you just up and went?
Well, he worked for a company that's based out of Huntsville, Alabama, where he's originally from. And he told them, if we ever get a contract in Australia, I want to go. So we we planned a wedding, pulled off a full, complete wedding in 31 days.
That's crazy.
Yes, listen, I'm telling you, I am the poster child for short engagements. And then we moved, we each got a box each to move everything. So they give you the number of inches that you can ship, and we got the biggest boxes we could. 2 boxes is all we took for our stuff. That's it.
To start over in Australia.
So we got married, moved to a new country. And, and it was
awesome.
great. I mean, so the best part about it is that it was a new place. We got to, it's probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and it absolutely breaks my heart right now with all of the fires there and all the devastation. We learned to scuba dive when we were there. Amazing stuff. I mean, just when you see a grouper that is, they do a lot of reefs that are old ships and stuff like that. There's a grouper that we were in Brisbane, so we moved 1,000 kilometers north from Sydney up to Brisbane, so about 600 miles. And off of that, off of the coast, there's this false reef there, and it's an artificial reef, I should say. Anyway, there was a grouper in there that was the size, and I am not lying, of a VW Beetle. It was enormous, and it had gotten in at some point. Fish would come in. It had a nice, big, happy life, but it couldn't get out.
Stayed, yeah.
He couldn't. It was too big to leave, so it just ate fish that came in, and that's how it lived. And I don't know, it could be dead, or God, that would make a really bad smell. But
Right.
Well, it probably doesn't smell it because it's in the ocean.
I know, but
It's still a steak.
Yeah.
A fish the size of a Volkswagen is a pretty big fish.
Yeah, so it was huge, and just moray eels and just porpoises. It's pretty amazing place to scuba dive. So
Okay. What was life like in Australia? Like, what was life everyday
life? Only 10% of the when we were there, which was from 91 to 94. 10% of the population has air conditioning. So we had one for our bedroom, so we were in that. But our house, I mean, you go to the grocery store, and instead of 50 kinds of ketchup, there's one. So much simpler life.
Okay.
We had late night shopping was one night a week. until, you know, things did finally start doing that. But they used to close shops at 6 o'clock, and except Thursday night, there was late night shopping. So it was a really pretty amazing place to live. Really simple, great food. Second largest Greek population in the world is in Melbourne, Australia, which is the last place we lived when we lived there. And
What the people?
yeah, really.
What about the people?
Oh, just not the Aboriginal people were really lovely people. Where we went to church, there were the women in the Aboriginal tribes. They're the oldest people on earth,
Okay.
and so women ran things. I mean, that's just the way
Right.
it was, and you know, you learned a lot. I mean, it was really amazing to watch and learn about culture, and they told stories, and that's how they passed on their culture. They were nomadic, and we just really lovely. They laugh at themselves. They have a great sense of humor. It took us about 6 months to grab onto their humor, but once you do, it's incredibly funny.
It's simplicity, right? That's the biggest I've
Yeah, I
heard
mean,
from
yeah,
everybody
they
out
laugh
there.
at themselves, you know. And they don't take things seriously. We used to call it the she'll be right mate.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't get done today, it'll get done tomorrow.
Right.
That's not American culture. And so, when I got back, so I grew up in Texas, I got back and people would go, well, where are you from in Canada? And I'm like, Canada? No. But I guess I had picked up enough of an accent. And so it was, you know, was one of those things. But it was a beautiful place, and we still have really good friends there.
If you could only have one thing you missed the most from Australia, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. Probably the beaches.
I was going to say it had to be the water because that's you
The
centralize
water,
around the
yeah,
water beaches.
yeah. Diving, it's just beautiful. It's just simple. It's a slow.
Is
way
the
to-
wildlife out there as wild as they make it on the TV?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
everywhere.
it really is.
They're like cities, but they're very small cities.
Oh yeah, but you're still like where we lived. We had this
You're in the
thing
wild.
called
Yeah.
and we had this thing called a brush turkey that used to, and they were the ugly. They looked sort of like
Brush turkey.
Yeah, like a cross between a vulture head, and they were just ugly, and they were like where they're federally, you know, protected, so you couldn't do anything with them. They tear up your yard; it didn't matter. You know, kangaroos, I mean, are big animals. FYI, the eastern grays and the eastern reds, which had to do with their coloring. These things are 6 feet tall.
They're mean, right?
Oh, and yeah, and so they would lay on the golf courses. So if you go to the golf courses in the afternoon, like siesta time, probably 4 in the afternoon, they would lay, and they would literally take over the golf course. Like there might be and they're called mobs. So there was a group of them, it's a mob. And they're laying on the ground on their side, and they look like they had these big Popeye forearms and long nails. They looked like they should be drinking beers, laying on their sides. And you couldn't play golf. I mean, you just stopped playing golf.
That's so weird.
It was crazy, but there was lots of very cool animals too. Yeah, a wombat's my favorite one. And they're just like a bear, but they're like
little small bears.
Yeah, so they're just.
But they're mean too.
No, they're kind of nocturnal.
They're really nice.
No, they're just they're solitary, but they're just kind of cool looking. They're
Kind of like the quiet dog.
yeah. So it was fun. We really, really enjoyed living there, and still have really good friends there. And thank goodness for Facebook. It's a great
Understood.
thing.
Thank goodness for Facebook. What brought you back to the States?
You know, my dad had passed away. We got married in December, moved in January, and my dad died in April. So I mean, you know, you want to have a lot of stress, get married, move to a new country. And so we decided at that point we either had to take dual citizenship or come back. And I think we always knew that we probably would come back, but we were there for almost 3.5 years. So it's still a place that we love and consider it a home.
Did you ever go back, you think?
Oh, absolutely. In a New York second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have been talking with Miss Jan. We'll continue this interview, Keep It 100 DC, and we come back. BFAM 109.6. Perfect timing. Welcome back to the show. Birthday shout-outs are brought to you by Barker Heating and Air. Remind you, if your heat goes out and you don't know what to do, call 678-888-COOL. So, Jan, back in the States now, you decide to become a real estate broker. What brought you into this occupation and why have you stayed so long?
Well, when we got back, I had to kind of figure out what we were going to do, what I was going to do, what was I going to be when I grew up, sort of. And so we get back, we come to Atlanta. I'd only been here one time. I had no idea, really about anything about Atlanta. But I ended up getting a realtor. Her name's Shannon. Anyway, going through the process, we ended up buying a house, and after the time, after we closed, she said, "You really need to do this." And I'm like, "Really?" So I thought, well, she said, "Yeah." She's like, you ask good questions, you're engaged, you're looking at it. She goes, "You didn't seem to look at this like just as a buyer. You looked at it from a different side." And so I was like, well, So ended up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I kind of was at a place that I could start a new career. And my dad had been an attorney. Well, he had always been related to real estate and a lot of the things and so it had been around me my entire life. So in 1996, I'll never forget, I was doing retail management at the time, and Cumberland Mall. Believe it or not, really, yeah.
Okay.
So I just thought, I'm going to I mean, it was really, really stressful, and I thought this real estate can't be more stressful than doing retail management. So anyway, got my license, and I told my boss on April Fool's, I'll never forget, April Fool's, I put in my notice. And one of the girls who worked for me at the time, 2 weeks after I was in the business, I sold my first house, and it's kind of been since then.
It took you only 2 weeks to sell your
my first house. Yep.
Wow.
So I think when you want to do something, sometimes I think some people are driven to move towards pleasure. A lot of us move away from pain. Whatever it was, I just thought, I got to be successful at this. We went out, very first house I sold. It was new construction, so we ended up having to build it. But yeah, I mean, and it just kind of took off from there. And my first year, I was Rookie of the Year in my office. Actually, another girl who's still in the business, she and I were co-Rookies of the Year, and it's just grown from there. I've changed brokerages, and now I've been with Keller Williams for 16 years, going on 17 years. And, it was, it's just every year, I think the greatest thing I get from it is you learn from mistakes that you make, or successes, whatever it is. The more knowledge you have, the better you are, and the better you can protect your clients. And that to me was always important. So in 2011, I actually went and got my broker's license. So in 96, I was licensed as an agent. I got and so at this point, I'm considered an associate broker because there can only be one broker of record. And it's just been something that I've loved doing. You get to meet all kinds of people.
That's a fact.
Yeah. One of my clients, his uncle is actually a candidate for he's for U.S. presidency.
That's
and
pretty cool.
And it was an interesting story. And you meet all people from all walks of life. I think for me the best part of it is, it's great to close the big deals. It's nice. Sure. But to me, the deals where I remember a woman looked at me, and she, an African-American lady, and she looked at me, and she was 44 at the time, and after we closed, she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she goes, "I never thought I would own my own house." And that's why.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you do what you do. It's everything can be a completely crappy week, day, whatever. You hear things like that, and those other things no longer matter. It's about being the person who was able to get that done for them. And to me, that's what I
you're
love.
A giver. I get it totally. Yeah. One question. What's the difference between an agent and a broker?
Your liability.
Understood.
Yeah,
I want everybody to hear that.
Yeah.
Tell them why.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are agents. Tell them the difference between an agent and broker, the real difference.
Yeah, it's really that I am held to a higher standard. I have more knowledge. That's there's a lot of designations that you can get. I chose to do it because I thought it's the one designation that people will understand. They don't understand the alphabets of the SREA and the GRI and the ABC XYZ, but they understand a broker. And so, it was actually, after going through high school and college, that broker's exam was the hardest test I have ever had in my life. 3 hours, and I took every bit of the 3 hours, and I walked up to the lady and I said, when can I retake my test? And she goes, well, you don't even know if you may have passed. And I go, oh no, I didn't. And sure enough, I had, but it was really,
They compare it to the bar exam. I have some broker friends, and they're like, man, this on the bar exam gotta be close.
Well, it's situational, so you can't use any of your expertise. You
Right.
can only use what they give you. And there's more than one answer. And some are more right than others, and some are more wrong than others. So they can vary, and some are -2, some are +2 answers, and there you could have one answer, or you could have 4 that are there.
Right.
So it was a tough, and it needs to be tough because it's the largest purchase that people ever do.
It's true.
And and we're entrusted to help them do that. One of the things that Conley's going to do, he's going to be going away to college next year, and he wants to get a business degree with a concentration in real estate. And so he's going to be he's only 17, so he can't actually take his exam until he's 18 next month.
Okay.
But we're going to
Start getting into a class.
yeah.
And when I get the chance, I'm gonna hopefully get my license and start working with her before I head out to school.
Well, I got some questions for you. So your son, it says here, your son kind of going to college in the fall. How do you feel about the college he chose? Or did he choose a college? You choose college.
He chose the college.
So how do you feel about the college he chose?
He's going to be 6 hours away, which is, I like the school that he's going to. I wish he was going in state. It's a little bit less costly, and we
Okay.
have allotted an amount of money, and then everything else. He did get some scholarship money, but everything else is on him.
Okay.
But no, I think it's good. I think, to me, college is the 4 most fun years you ever had in your life.
Oh my God.
You're an adult, but you're not completely an adult, so
It's like high school with more freedom.
it's even
I
more than
describe
that.
it as mine. I describe like, remember when you were 10 years old and you got privileges? Because you're 10, you're double digits.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You got more privileges, you're free, but you still have bills, but you don't have bills.
Right.
You got all these rules,
you
but
got
you
to
break them a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a catch net.
Yeah.
You-
It's like your last time to be a kid.
Right. And yet you have it, but you're.
There's
yet
still
you're an
guidelines,
adult.
though.
Yeah. So
But you can
it's-
break the guidelines and still go back to them. It's just like that. It's your last chance, man.
Yeah, it's the
Kid
4
bill's
best
over.
years before you really get to adulthood.
Exactly, because after you get out of college, it's nothing but responsibilities.
Yeah.
Fun time's over.
Yeah.
Gross.
Unless you get good responsibility and you're good at it, and you can juggle jobs. Like I had a good job, and I juggled it and had fun still.
Right.
But
I think overall, I think that was the thing about it. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really good because he's going to have to he's a good kid. He makes good choices anyway, but he's going to be on his own and have to, he can pick up the phone and call us, but he's also going to have to make some choices
absolutely.
on his own. I call it failing forward to success.
Yeah. And those will happen Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
They will. Your hardest choice is going to be Fridays and Saturdays.
As I used to talk, la 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 la, stick your fingers in your ear. There's stuff that, ignorance is bliss at times.
And the busiest day is Sunday, because that's the day you have to pick up after Friday and Saturday and get back to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a little introduction to adulthood.
No, I will miss him.
Yeah.
I
don't doubt that at all. So let's go to Conley. Why did you choose to follow in your mother's footsteps to go to school for real estate?
I've heard a lot of my more, I guess, grown up side of being a kid, that I'm a very people person, I'm very charismatic, and I'm very easy to talk to. And so a lot of people have told me, you'd be really good at business, I guess, career. And I've always been around real estate. It's been something I've seen my entire life. And so I figured, why not go and pursue it? I seem to enjoy it currently, and business is something I really like to do.
Yeah.
And, he was with me when he was 6 weeks old. He went out and
I would
he's
go with her to show houses.
houses. Put him in the back seat, put my buyer in the passenger seat,
And we're off.
And we're off. You can feed a baby, you can change a baby, and
Absolutely.
you just did it because I was like, man, I gotta go be busy.
I did have one more question for you. What separates you? What do you think separates you from other brokers?
Well, I think that I will say this. I think there are good brokers out there, no doubt.
Right.
I think where I've had my success is because I have, I really do try to put my clients first. I think I'm good at connecting people with there's wants and there's needs. When you look at a house, there's things you want and there's things you need.
Yep.
You need them, it's never been. And sometimes it's learning to listen to what people say and what people aren't saying. And
Right.
being able to tie that all together. Sometimes husbands and wives aren't on the same page, business partners if it's an investment. And I'm really good at helping them kind of break that down because I'm not emotionally tied to the outcome.
Facts.
And I think that that's been really a lot of my success. I'm truthful with people. I'm honest. All I have is I don't sell a product. I have my morals and my ethics.
That's it. Yeah.
And to me, as a mom, and my husband's the same way, our sons, that's what they saw, is that you do the right thing when nobody else is looking. When it's 11:30 at night and you're writing a contract or looking at something, you're doing it because you're supposed to do it and it's the right thing to do. And that's when you put other people first and it does come back. And I think that has truly been a lot of my success. I had one of my clients that I helped them out, they had kind of gotten behind the 8 ball and they needed to sell their house. And she called me before I came here and she's like, I just wanted to call you and check on you and just, we didn't really get to check, and I want you to know that you don't know how much you did for us. I love that. I mean, those are words of affirmation, and those...
Yeah, you got your own little BFAM going on.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
yeah, it is. And, I want every transaction, I want there to be a friendship at the end of it.
Right, right.
So not everybody runs it like that. I do, and it is not, I don't ever think it's been a detriment to me.
That's awesome. Conley, one last question. Do you think there's any chance you might, at somewhere down the line, have a chance to work for your mom, knowing your values and her values?
Yeah, definitely.
You think your values can step up to her values? Because she's up here,
I know.
I mean...
And there have been times where I've had to step up, and hopefully I can fill her shoes, do what she needs me to, and hopefully become a business partner of hers, as well as her son.
That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah.
It would be amazing. I know it's cool for her. I already know that part.
Yeah.
But like for you,
It'd definitely be a little surreal.
it is.
Because
It
I always
is.
saw her do it as a kid,
Exactly.
so, and then to end up being that with her would be crazy.
Here's the surreal part. Imagine you down the road married with a kid. You got your kid in the back seat going to a job, and now you are in the front seat where she was, and your kid's in the back seat where you were. That's when it's going to get surreal.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Because is it real estate business? Is that more family business? It is past.
A lot.
I mean, I see a
people
lot
do.
of old businesses.
You do, and I think that there are people that do that. There's been changes. I mean, the number of changes we've seen in the real estate industry in general. It's still a people. I mean, bottom line,
It's people-based business.
it's a people business.
Fact.
And if you take care of the people that are in your, whether it's your database or whatever, if you take care of those people, you will have more business than you ever know what to do with. About 80% of my business is repeat business.
Exactly.
Though I do have referral-based business, and that also works. So I had a listing appointment today. It's an $850,000 house, and it was a referral from my CPA.
Okay.
And went and spent an hour with them. And it wasn't, we looked at the house, but it was listening to what they wanted and needed. Because the house had been listed before, just there were some things that weren't good. It doesn't mean that it was bad.
Right.
But I think I did a better job of listening to them. And that's why I got that
Yeah.
deal.
It can be. It's anything. I can tell you, you're very attentive. You're very thorough. I mean,
I
we
try
had
to be.
15-minute interview today. I didn't ask you any questions. I asked you the first one. I said, "Okay, we're going to build a show here." You just built it. It was so easy.
Thank you. Well, I think that I try to be authentic. I think that's
You are, very.
that's important. I want to have fun. Life is way too short to not have some fun. And if you can't laugh at yourself,
Well, Jan, guess what? It's funny you said that because it's now 7:11, which means we have to go to break. But guess what comes next? Jan will go head against her son Conley with the genre of 1970s rock and roll hits as we play radio karaoke brought to you by a DJ named Roach, Keepin 100 DC on BFAN 109.6. We will be right back.
is that your...
Radio karaoke is brought to you by Lit AF and a DJ named Roach. Today's contestants will be Jan, please hit your buzzer, versus Conley, please hit your buzzer, with the genre of 1970s rock and roll.
I hope I don't embarrass myself.
I mean, there's two good things that can happen here. One good thing that can happen is Conley was not told he was playing a game.
True.
And it is not his favorite subject, I would say, right?
Oh,
I like 70s rock, just not what I listen to regularly.
I got you. So if you came here and beat her, you're an underdog winning.
Yeah.
Yes, and I
But-
would be totally embarrassed.
But if you win, you're okay with that.
I'm good with that.
Okay,
Yes.
See, there's lots of good stuff happening.
Yes, of course.
So this is how you play. I'm going to read a song very, very, very well. It's going to be monotone. It's going to be 4 lines. While I'm reading it, anybody can buzz in. If you know the name of the song. What you don't want to do is do this.
That was easy.
That's Journey, and don't say the name of the group. You're only helping the other person. And it's not going to get you any
Oh,
points.
if you mess up, then you...
I mean,
yeah.
don't say anything except for the name of the song. You're not going to get penalized, but you're helping the other person.
Okay.
Okay? All we need is the name
Why
of
do
the
I
song.
think this is going to go badly?
It's going to go good. As long as you win. I hope you win, because
Yeah.
it's your show.
Yeah.
All right, so if you don't get it when I read it, I will play the exact part of that song by them for 1 point. 2 points with me, 1 point with them. If you ring it and you're wrong, you're out for that question. Questions?
Nope.
Issues? You want to give your fight statement? You want to get... You good? You guys don't look like a very fighting family. All right.
He wants to go home with me because I'm his ride. That's the reason why he won't be ugly to me. And he'd like to eat, so...
Yeah, I kind of want to
See, now, I was all right with the ride part because you can Uber, but the eating part, now, dude, don't mess up with your mom. Dude, don't do that. Just, might want to lay down.
I'll just take it.
Does she like to win? Like when you guys play family board games?
Yeah, we do
yes,
play games sometimes. She's fairly competitive.
That's good.
I don't say I am. I like...
She
but
doesn't
just...
say she is. She really is.
Let me ask you this. She's not here right now. Does she cheat at Monopoly?
No.
That's all we need to
No,
know.
I'm not.
She-
No,
that's
I'm
all
not-
we need to
because
know.
that sucks, and that's no fun to play like that.
It is.
No, I don't want to. It's like if you're going to cheat, I'm leaving.
It's lame.
It's lame.
Understood completely. All right, so the first song sounds something like this. I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. I lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away. For 2 points. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
This
Anybody?
song, I know this
Anybody?
song.
Anybody?
It's so familiar, but
Wait until you hear it.
Can you reread it?
Sure, I'll reread it because I have a commercial coming up here. I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. I lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away.
Crap.
All right, we're going to go for 1 point, and here we go.
I know who it is. It's
Don't
More
tell
than a
me.
feeling.
Hit your button. Jan,
More than a feeling.
More Than a Feeling
Boston.
is absolutely right for 1 point. You understand how to play now? Yeah, it gets really real once you punch the buzzer first time. Okay, so that's how we play.
I'll stick fist. I'll still feed you, sweetie.
I appreciate that.
All right, so song number 2 sounds something like this. Leaving home out on the road. I've been down before. Riding along in this big old jet plane. I've been thinking about my home.
Jetliner. Steve
Hit your
Miller.
button.
Jetliner.
He
Conley.
wins.
I know he does. Conley, the answer is
Jetliner.
Jetliner is correct for 2 points.
Do I get a half a point because it's Steve Miller?
No. I don't even want to look at her right now. She's giving me that
Oh
look.
my God! I can't
feel it.
believe this.
I can feel it. I can feel the feet on my head
This
right now.
damn button.
Hey.
I just spilled 2 points.
No, you didn't steal it. You just destroyed it. It was awesome. When you go back and watch that right now, you're gonna go, that was so cool. Don't say it when she's watching it. All right, so here's the third song. Currently, Conley is winning 2-1.
Oh, that is not true. Oh,
It
this
is
is
so
not,
true.
Okay.
Scoreboard said it all.
Scoreboard is never lie. Okay, here we go. Oh, she's a beater. I got it on camera. It's awesome. All right, so here's the third song. Just take those old records off the shelf. I'll sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. Jan,
Old time rock and roll.
old time rock and roll is absolutely correct for 2 points. Bob the Seger Band.
Do you know what movie that was made famous?
Oh my god. He
And-
slides in,
Was
he
easy.
has his socks, the white
I
button
ran
down.
it.
You are correct, but do you know who the actor was?
Oh my god.
That was
I
easy.
know that one too.
TC are his initials.
And he's super short. Super short.
Scientology.
Tom Cruise.
Tom
Really? Was
Cruise.
it Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Risky Business.
Yep, risky business with the Wayfarers.
Yeah,
Wow.
buddy. He brought. He
Tidy whities, white socks, and Wayfarers.
That's it. Them glasses got famous from that one movie.
It sure did.
All right, fourth song. Jan is now winning 3-2. You notice the nice friendliness to come back. No more beating on you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Song number 4 sounds like this. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? For I must be traveling on now, because there's too many places I've got to see. For 1 point. Didn't sound nothing like that, did it?
No, it did not. I can't. Oh my God! I know
Don't
who
say it.
sings
Don't
I
say
know
it.
who
Don't
sings
don't
it.
say it.
No, I do too.
Who sings it, Conley?
Jan.
Freebird.
Freebird is
Leonard
correct
Skinner.
for 1 point.
Weird.
Leonard Skinner.
The teacher, the high school math teacher.
That's right.
Mr. Skinner.
All right. Last song before the bonus song. Conley is losing 5-2. This song sounds a little something like this. Is this the real life? You know it already?
Mm-hmm.
You can ring it now. Is this just Jan?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I probably would have
is-
gotten it by the third line. The first one, it was like,
Who is this?
It's, yeah, that's what it is.
I actually really remember this song because a girl I dated at one point, this was her favorite song. Like, Queen was her favorite band of all
That
time.
is a lot of people's favorite song. Well, here's the good news. This question is only for you. You are
And the
losing.
points don't count.
Oh no, the points count for sure. This question is only for you.
Alright.
You're down 7-2, so it will be worth 5 points.
Alright, tiebreaker.
Jan cannot help you. If she does, she can if she wants to, but she's only screwing herself. So,
But I love you. I might help you.
what year did Richard Nixon die?
88.
Incorrect. It was 1994. The score remains 7-2. But the good news is, because he would have been 107 years old today, the last question is worth 107 points. So anybody can win. That's how you play radio karaoke. It doesn't matter till the end. You can get every song right, but if you get the last one right, you're going to be the winner. So now it's game on.
Okay.
This is the one you really want to get.
Alright.
sounds something like this. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how. You know it already? You should hit your button, just wipe them out.
At least let me hear the rest of the lyrics.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That music used to make me smile, and I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while.
I'll even tell you who sang it.
That's not going to help them at all. Most people don't even know who sang it.
Yeah.
Who sang it?
John McClain.
Don McLean.
Doesn't even matter.
I know the song.
Whop that button. Take your win.
Go ahead, Mom.
Jan.
American Pie.
American Pie for the win is absolutely correct to win 116 to 2. Jan, what size t-shirt would you wear? If you don't wear t-shirts, you can always ask him.
How about an XL? Let's have an XL.
Probably an XL.
That is your prize package. When we come back, we're going to close out the show. Keepin DC here on BFAN 109.6. I recommend this song to everybody. It's an American history song. Welcome back to the show. This segment is brought to you by 4D Apparel, your one-stop for customized, sewn-made jerseys. Please visit our website at 4dtermins.com or call 770-826-2445 to set up a design appointments. Now, talk about that Tide Pod. What do you call it? Tide Pod.
Tide
That's the
Pod.
ball you put inside.
No, it's a little. They're like this big, and they've got two colors. Which is what you throw in the washing machine.
You just chuck it in. Now
Yeah,
you
It just breaks down.
Right.
It all
That's what
started.
those people were eating.
People were biting them.
Oh yeah, I heard
They're
about
just full
that.
of, it's just literally pockets of laundry detergent.
So
With like steak.
I call that, like I said, cleaning the gene pool.
Natural
you know,
selection.
remember back in our days when we got soap put in our mouth, we didn't like
Yes.
it. Now they're eating it on purpose. Idiots.
Like I can remember
There's
getting
gotta
my
be a
mouth
high
washed
in there.
out. It was like,
Did you like soap in your mouth?
no.
Did you ever have it?
Yes.
I hated
I
it.
stuck my tongue out one time when I was a kid. I got my mouth washed out with soap.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
So nasty. It's the nastiest tape ever.
Well, I mean, it's live.
Yeah.
So, of course it's going to taste
My grandpa used to go, put your tongue out. I'm like, no.
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 And then he would rub it
We're
on.
talking about Ivory, because back in the day, he
Ivory.
told you, that's the worst soap. 99% pure lye.
Aye.
Which is
Lye.
poisonous. I remember when I first told him, you know, when you get smart enough and you're getting old and you tell your grandparents or your parents, you look at me and say, hey, you know, there's lye in that and that's going to poison me. Now you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
Don't get smarter than your parents.
I don't
ever.
think I did that to them.
Yeah.
Except I've done it with cooking. I did get smarter than them with cooking, and I will boast it in the kitchen sometimes.
Is he a good cook?
I take culinary classes in school.
he's in. So where he goes to high school, you have an academic and a non-academic track.
Okay.
His non-academic is culinary. However, I have yet to really, truly be
Colonized.
Colonized.
Graced by it.
Why not, man? My son is a chef. He was at Aspen's.
It's
He
a,
loves
Oh yeah. So
It's-
anyway, so
it's
for
a lot of work.
his trip, so he'll go to Italy for 10 days on a culinary tour.
it.
yeah.
Now I don't like you anymore. I like that.
I'm not going to Italy on a culinary trip.
I mean, I like you. I don't like the fact that he's going.
Well, I don't either. So
I know, but
there
if
you
he's
go.
going, can he at least? Don't you have to sign a permission slip or something?
Yeah, I had to pay too. So.
No, you should have got a meal out of that.
Well,
If I'm gonna do this, when you
actually,
come back,
we have
I'm getting a
something
meal.
next week. They have to.
We have to cook for them.
They
Okay,
have-
okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, so we'll get to do it. Do you have to wear your little chef coat?
What day is that at? When's that gonna be? I want to make sure that I call her
The
after the picture.
the
I
16th.
think yeah,
16th?
Thursday the 16th.
Okay, January 16th.
It's like in the
Jan
evening.
back.
Yep, call me and
Call
I'll give you a
Jan back,
lowdown
and
on
I'm
the
gonna
food.
find out.
I will
what's
say we're one of the best high schools that you can get catered from in Georgia, because we actually probably have the largest program in Georgia.
So here's your chance here. Conley, you got anybody you want to shout out? This is the perfect time for that.
I guess just all the boys, Eddie, Larry, Joseph, Trent, all the guys that I see on a regular basis. Josh. Well, I actually have like 4 friends named Josh, but yeah.
What about your?
Oh, and of course my lovely girlfriend, Layla.
Dude, you're in trouble. You never should have said the boys for the girlfriend.
Boys,
It's all right.
The boys come. Okay,
I'm with you.
I
Don't
hope
say it again.
She goes to a different school.
I hope she doesn't see this, but the boys will always have a special place in my heart.
That was easy.
All right, Conley, now that your love life is over, you want
Yeah.
to shout out your social media or anything about cooking or say anything to anybody? Shout out your awesome dad that's not here yet?
Oh, Pops, he's great.
Yeah.
He's
Is he cool?
Yeah,
He seems pretty cool.
he's
He's
awesome.
really smart.
I think he's where I got a lot of my personality and myself from.
Oh no, you got that from me, you silly man.
I'm going to have Pops in here with the other son, so we'll see what's
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
bring y'all in here together.
Yeah, because he's an IT guy.
Oh, I like IT guys.
Yeah, he's
I
pretty smart.
actually got a lot of that from my dad.
Okay. Cool. Anybody else want to shout out?
Nah. I think
No.
I think probably the one person I would want to shout out is probably my coaches, Coach Gerda and Coach Ironside. One of them actually, he was coaching for 14 years in high school and he just retired.
He's actually going to a school in South Georgia that is a school that 80% of the kids are probably at or below poverty level, and he and his wife want to go and make a difference in kids' that
That's so
ages.
cool.
It is really cool. Yeah.
That was kind of my idea with the radio part of this. When I saw him over there, and I'm like, this is the bottom of the pit here. I want to give something to them.
Right.
Give them a stepping stool or something
Right.
like that. Makes
Yeah.
you feel good.
Yeah, so he's been a great at Hillgrove High School, and
Love Hillgrove.
so
Oh,
he's going
Great.
to. So he'll finish out this year, and then they're going to move down to Worth County, is where it is. So he's and he will do a lot for those kids. He'll be a great influence for them.
Absolutely. Jan, you want to shout out to anybody?
Oh, I think I love my office. My Keller Williams Realty Signature Partners. We're at 3375 Dallas Highway, and I've been in that office for 17 years, and I think I work with the best people in the world. So I mean, there's lots of us. Our office, we have over 300 agents, and
That's pretty
they are
cool.
like my family. So. I am going to say this about them. Over Christmas, we did a great giving tree, and I was in charge of the culture committee, and that was my thing. And we actually collected over 500 gifts for 3 different schools, a shelter that's down here called Seven Bridges to Recovery.
Okay, yeah.
And then 2 other people that had just fallen upon hard times, and a grandmother that took in her grandkids due to an addiction issue, and then a mother with 4 kids who's ended up being left as a single parent, and we just were able to provide for them. And I by no means did it on my own. It was because of the people that are in my office, and a lot of people don't necessarily understand what, realtors make a lot of money. My office gives back to the community in huge ways.
That's
And
awesome.
when you talk about family, they're my second family.
Yeah, that's what the B fam stands for.
Yeah.
It's your B side family. They might not be blood, but they are so family.
Yeah, and so I'm really, really blessed to
Absolutely.
have them to help my, if something happens, I need help, I can send something out on Facebook or through our groups, and I can have somebody that'll step in and help me, and that's awesome.
So I know on Facebook you can be found at the Jan Hair Realty Club.
Realty Group is my business page, and then I have a personal page. But yeah, please.
You want to give us a number to contact you?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
My cell phone is 678-778-5102, and my email is janjhair@kw.com.
Do you have an IG? Do you do the IG stuff? We'll get
Actually,
you.
that's more personal.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really don't, but I usually,
know a lot of real estate
I just haven't, a lot of my clients are older and they
Right.
don't do that, but I have clients that are, my youngest client ever was 18 years old, and my oldest one, she just turned 90. So I have had that
You
gamut
got a
of,
wide range.
I got
of
a
people.
wide range, man.
So in other words, age is not an issue with
Age
you.
is
They call
not an
you.
issue.
All right.
Age is not an issue.
Shout out to all my sponsors: Barker Heating and Air, El Superpan, Lit AF, and the DJ Name Roach, Blue Moon Pizza, and 4D Apparel. Also, please take a few moments on the YouTube page, BFAM Studios. If you like that, you can help support the studio by just clicking that little like button, because Google will pay us, or somebody. I don't know who pays us, but we get checks. I like it. My next show will be Tuesday, January 14th, where I will have the whole crew. And when I say the whole crew, if you did not see Luann and L.A. Brown in here from Burn by Rocky Patel, and you missed that show, this time I've got John with them too, and I promise you, We're going to talk about cigar life and everything that happens over there, live in studio January 14th at 8 p.m. Today's Keepin' It 100 with DC requote of the day is, never miss out on a good person that can make your life great just because they're a little difficult to communicate with. The good ones never come easy. Keep it 100 with DC. BFAM 109.6. DC is now out. That's it. That's how you play.